the journey begins. There are books that entertain us, books that educate us, and then there are books that transform us. The 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak is one such masterpiece. It is not just a story, it is an awakening of the soul. The novel intertwines two narratives, one set in modern times and the other in the 13th century. Both of these stories explore love, spirituality, and personal transformation. At the heart of this novel is the mystical bond between Rumi, the famous Sufi poet, and Shams of Tabriz, a wandering dervish who became his spiritual guide. Their relationship changed Rumi's understanding of love, pushing him beyond the limits of tradition and convention. Interwoven with their tale is the story of Ella, a middle-aged woman in the 21st century whose life takes an unexpected turn when she encounters the wisdom of Shams through a book she is reviewing. Shams lived by 40 rules, profound lessons on love, faith, and the divine. These rules are scattered throughout the novel, appearing at key moments of realization. Let's embark on a journey through these rules, absorbing their essence through the experiences of Shams, Rumi, and Ella. Rule number 1. Love reveals who you are. How we see God is a direct reflection of how we see ourselves. If he brings to mind mostly fear and blame, it means there is too much fear and blame within us. If we see love, compassion, and kindness, so are we. When Shams first meets Rumi, he sees not just a scholar, but a soul still bound by religious conventions. He challenges Rumi's perception of God. Is God truly someone to be feared, or is he someone to be loved? The way we perceive the divine mirrors our own hearts. If we are filled with fear and judgment, we see God as punishing. If we are full of love, we see God as compassionate and kind. For Ella, this rule makes her question her own beliefs about love. If love feels impossible, is it because she has locked it away within herself? She has lived a life based on duty, practicality, and routine. But as she starts reading about Shams and Rumi, she begins to wonder, has she been looking at love in the wrong way all along? Perhaps love is not something external to be found, but something within her that needs to be unlocked. This rule teaches us that our inner world shapes our perception of the outside world. If we carry bitterness and resentment, we project those feelings onto life itself. But if we nurture love and kindness within us, we start to see the world through a lens of beauty and compassion. Love is not just an external experience, it is a reflection of our inner being. To truly love others, we must first learn to love ourselves. Rule number 2. The heart knows what the mind cannot grasp. The path to the truth is a labor of the heart, not of the head. Make your heart your primary guide, not your mind. Meet, challenge, and ultimately conquer your nafs, ego, with your heart. Knowing your ego will lead you to the knowledge of God. Shams tells Rumi that intellect is a great tool, but a poor master. True understanding comes from within, not from books. Rumi, a man of letters, struggles with this concept. How can he abandon knowledge for love? Shams explains that while the mind calculates and doubts, the heart simply knows. To truly understand life, one must quiet the mind and listen to the heart. It is a difficult lesson for Rumi, but as he begins to open himself to love, he realizes that logic alone is not enough. Similarly, Ella has spent years making decisions based on logic, what society expects, what seems right. But love doesn't work that way. Love is not a carefully calculated decision. It is a force that defies explanation. As she reads more, she realizes that she has spent her entire life ignoring her heart's desires. For the first time, she allows herself to feel deeply, even if it contradicts her rational understanding of life. This rule reminds us that the intellect alone cannot comprehend the mysteries of love and faith. The mind seeks answers, but the heart experiences truth. If we wish to understand life fully, we must allow our hearts to lead us toward experiences that go beyond mere logic. True love and wisdom arise when we silence our doubts and trust in the depth of our emotions. Rule number 3. Every soul sees truth differently. Each and every reader comprehends the Holy Quran on a different level in tandem with the depth of his understanding. When Shams shares his radical views, many religious scholars reject him, but he insists that truth is not one size fits all. Everyone's journey is unique, shaped by their experiences and openness. He teaches Rumi that no two people understand God in the same way, and that is okay. Spirituality is personal, and our interpretations of divine truth depend on our level of consciousness and self-awareness. Ella, too, learns this lesson as she reads Sweet Blasphemy, the novel that introduces her to Shams. She sees love differently than her husband does. But does that make her wrong? Through her conversations with Aziz, the author of the book, she realizes that truth is subjective. Each person must find their own path. What feels true and meaningful to one person may not resonate the same way with another, and that diversity of thought should be embraced. This rule encourages us to embrace the diversity of thought and experience. Rather than judging others for their beliefs, we should seek to understand them. By accepting that each person's perception of truth is shaped by their journey, we cultivate empathy and respect. The world is vast, and there are countless ways to experience and understand love, faith, and purpose. Rule number 4, love is everywhere, if you dare to see it. You can study God through everything and everyone in the universe because God is not confined to a mosque, synagogue, or church. But if you are still in need of knowing where exactly his abode is, there is only one place to look for him, in the heart of a true lover. Rumi is challenged by this rule. He has spent years leading prayers in mosques, yet Shams tells him that God is not confined to any place of worship. God is found in love, in kindness, in the soul of a true seeker. This realization transforms Rumi's understanding of spirituality. No longer does he see God as distant. Instead, he begins to see divinity in every act of love and compassion. For Ella, love isn't in the structured life she built. It's in the words of a man she has never met, but whose thoughts stir something deep inside her. She begins to understand that love is not about rules or boundaries. It is about connection. She realizes that true love is not found in obligation, but in moments of deep, meaningful understanding between souls. This rule reminds us that love and divinity exist in the most unexpected places. We do not have to search for them in grand temples or sacred rituals. They are present in the simple, everyday moments of kindness and connection. If we open our eyes and our hearts, we will see that love is everywhere, waiting for us to recognize it. Rule number 5, let go of control. Love requires surrender. Intellect and love are made of different materials. Intellect ties people in knots and risks nothing, but love dissolves all tangles and risks everything. Rumi, a man of intellect, struggles with this rule at first. His entire life has been built around knowledge, logic, and structured religious thought. But Shams teaches him that love is not something to be controlled or understood through the mind. Love is an act of surrender. It demands that we let go of our preconceived notions and embrace the unknown. Rumi must learn to give up his rigid thinking in order to truly experience love. For Ella, this rule speaks directly to the way she has lived her life. She has always been careful, measured, and practical. She has built a marriage and a family based on security rather than passion. But as she continues reading Sweet Blasphemy, she begins to question whether love should be safe or if it should be something that shakes a person to their core. She realizes that she has been afraid to take risks in love, fearing what she cannot control. This rule reminds us that true love does not operate within the boundaries of logic and reason. Love is a force that demands vulnerability, trust, and the willingness to lose oneself. If we cling too tightly to control, we may never truly experience the depth of love. Instead, we must be willing to let go, take risks, and allow love to transform us. Rule number 6, the language of love is beyond words. Most of the problems of the world stem from linguistic mistakes and simple misunderstandings. Don't ever take words at face value. When you step into the path of love, be ready to undergo a complete transformation. Rumi, as a poet and scholar, has spent his life immersed in words. But Shams challenges him to understand that love is something deeper than language. Words can deceive, mislead, or fall short of expressing the depth of emotions. True love is not found in grand speeches, but in the quiet, unspoken understanding between souls. When Rumi begins to embrace love, he realizes that his poetry is no longer just about words, it becomes a reflection of his soul's transformation. Ella experiences something similar as she reads Aziz's emails. She has spent years in a marriage where words are exchanged but meaning is lost. Conversations with her husband feel empty, but Aziz's words awaken something within her. However, she comes to understand that it is not the words themselves that matter. It is the emotions they evoke. Love is not about what is said, it is about what is felt. This rule teaches us that love is beyond language. Words can be powerful, but they can also be limiting. Real love is expressed in actions, in presence, in moments of silence where two souls connect without the need for explanation. To truly understand love, we must look beyond words and embrace the deeper connection that exists between hearts. Rule number 7. Embrace change, even when it feels like chaos. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. When Shams enters Rumi's life, everything turns upside down. His followers rebel, his family feels threatened, and his entire world is shaken. But Shams tells him that this chaos is necessary for transformation. Love, growth, and spiritual awakening often come through upheaval. If Rumi clings to his old ways, he will never become the person he is meant to be. Change, even when painful, is a gift. For Ella, this rule manifests in the unexpected changes happening in her own life. She never expected to question her marriage, her role as a mother, or her beliefs about love. But as she continues her journey, she begins to understand that resisting change only causes suffering. Instead of fighting against her emotions, she starts to embrace them, allowing herself to evolve. This rule reminds us that life is always changing, and the more we resist, the harder it becomes. Love itself is a force of change. It shakes us, breaks us, and rebuilds us in new ways. Instead of fearing the unknown, we must trust the process and allow transformation to happen. Only by embracing change can we truly grow. Rule number 8. Everyone you meet is a mirror. Patience does not mean to endure passively. It means to look ahead and trust the outcome of a process. What does patience mean? It means to be far-sighted enough to trust the end result of a process. What does love mean? It means to be willing to give up everything for love, including yourself. Shams teaches Rumi that every person we encounter reflects something within us. The people who challenge us, the ones who inspire us, and even those who hurt us. All of them serve as mirrors to our own souls. When Rumi meets Shams, he sees a reflection of the potential he has yet to realize. Shams pushes him to look inward, confront his fears, and embrace his true self. Ella begins to understand this concept through her relationship with Aziz. He represents everything she has suppressed: passion, freedom, and the courage to follow one's heart. The more she engages with his words, the more she sees the parts of herself she has ignored. Instead of dismissing these feelings, she starts to explore what they mean for her own life. This rule teaches us that the people we encounter are not just random figures in our journey. They are reflections of our own inner world. If someone angers us, they may be showing us something we need to heal within ourselves. If someone inspires us, they may be highlighting the potential we have yet to embrace. By understanding this, we can approach relationships with greater awareness and openness. Rule number 9. Do not fear losing what was never yours to keep. Instead of resisting changes, surrender. Let life be with you, not against you. If you think my life will be upside down, don't worry. How do you know down is not better than upside? Rumi initially resists Shams because he fears losing the life he has built. He is a respected scholar, a teacher, a family man. But Shams tells him that sometimes the things we cling to are the very things holding us back. Love requires letting go. If something is truly meant for us, it will remain. If not, it was never ours to begin with. Ella too faces this dilemma. She fears losing the life she has spent years constructing, a stable marriage, a predictable routine, a familiar identity. But deep inside, she knows that holding on to something that no longer serves her will only lead to regret. She begins to consider the possibility that change is not something to be feared but embraced. This rule reminds us that loss is not always a bad thing. Sometimes we must let go of what we think we need in order to make space for what we truly deserve. Love, faith, and transformation require trust in the unknown. Instead of fearing loss, we must ask ourselves, what if letting go leads to something even greater? Rule number 10. Pain is the price of awakening. The midwife knows that when there is no pain, the way for the baby cannot be opened and the mother cannot give birth. Likewise, for a new self to be born, hardship is necessary. Shams warns Rumi that transformation will not be easy. True love, true enlightenment requires pain. Just as birth requires struggle, so does the process of becoming our truest selves. Rumi must endure heartbreak, criticism, and loss in order to fully awaken to the depths of his soul. Ella, too, faces pain. She grapples with guilt, doubt, and the fear of breaking free from her old life. But she begins to realize that pain is not something to be avoided. It is part of the journey. Without struggle, there can be no growth. Without loss, there can be no renewal. This rule teaches us that pain is not the enemy. It is a teacher, a guide, a necessary part of transformation. Instead of resisting it, we must embrace it, knowing that through our struggles, we are being shaped into something greater. Pain is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of awakening. Are you ready to follow love? These first rules are just the beginning. Each one pushes us to question our beliefs, embrace change, and let love reshape us. Love is not always easy, nor is it always logical, but it is transformative. Shams' wisdom changed Rumi, turned a scholar into a poet, and centuries later changed Ella's life as well. The journey through love, faith, and self-discovery is never-ending. As we continue exploring these 40 rules, we may find that they do not just apply to the characters in the novel, they apply to us as well. Will you let them transform you? If you found this journey inspiring, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with more wisdom and reflections on love and spirituality. Let's continue this conversation together.